friends, how are you doing? Welcome to Dealing with Money Channel 2, the baby channel. Trying to get this one up and going, trying to get it up and walking here. It's a little bit of a toddler channel, so let's get it going here. Thank you so much for subscribing to it and listening to me yap more on this channel. So obviously with this channel, I'm going to talk more about risky plays. Not even so much risky. It's like, just because I'm talking about something on here doesn't mean like it's risky. It just means it's not more of a, it's not, some of these stocks I talk about aren't really favorable with a lot of investors because there's maybe newer companies and revenue's a little rocky or a little bit rocky road. But nonetheless, the future outlook of what these could be, there's something that, you should just put on your watch list, watch them, get excited. Listen, there's people that just love to invest in just boring old things in the market. That's totally fine. I totally get that. But there's some people that like to take risk in the market, and this channel might be for you. So with all that said, it's at your own risk what you invest in. But let's talk about Achr Aviation. I've talked about this company once or twice on the main channel, but I want to push into it a little more because every now and then I see comments like, why don't you talk about Achr? Because it's such a well-known company at this point. There's a lot of expectation around it. So Achr Aviation. This is a company that I've been watching for quite some time, and I actually saw this freaking stock when it was so much cheaper, and before a lot of people like Miss Kathy here was involved in it. I passed on buying it. I could have bought the stock at insanely cheap prices, and I did not buy it. It's one of the biggest regrets in my life. But talking about Achr here, nonetheless, now that Achr is $10 here, I still don't think this is a situation where it's like, oh, we've missed out, we've missed the boat here. I wouldn't say that. The reason why I have Kathy Wood's picture on here is because there are interviews where Kathy talks about Achr and she's very excited about it. If you want to hear about somebody who's putting their money where their mouth is with Achr, it is Kathy Woods. The ARK Investment is a huge investor in Achr. Now, with that, Kathy is really in this. If you know Kathy Wood, she's really into the future aspect of what the world is going to look like in 5 to 10 years. Now with Achr Aviation, Kathy is very much, she's talking about that. She's opening that onion that is what Achr Aviation is going towards for them as a company. But two, there's another aspect of Achr Aviation that a lot of us do believe that might start to unfold here more. So you have Achr Aviation, who technically they need money. They need to make money. This is essentially a startup situation, a company. It's almost like Uber in the air, but a little different too. And I think that was kind of what got me years ago when I saw this company. I was like, Uber in the air. I was like, I don't know about this. One of the biggest regrets in my life at this point. So going right into this more, Achr Aviation obviously has had a huge push up, and a lot of this too has come from ARK Investment. Kathy Woods, like I said, speaks highly, and ARK Investment is so famous. Kathy is so famous for investing in companies that really aren't making money. They're not surviving on their own. They're being supported by investors, private investors, stock market, grants, things like that. I mean, CRISPR is another great example of that. Kathy Woods talks about CRISPR a lot. I'm sold out on CRISPR, but Achr here is one of those companies too where it's still finding the market. 100%. It's hard to go against the grain right now and say that Achr may never find a solid business day in, day out. I would probably go against that at this point because this is kind of like a situation of what Elon Musk said 10 years ago when he was talking about EV, the EV market, and people are like, electric cars, what are you talking about? And that's one thing I love about Elon Musk. He makes his market, and I'm talking about Elon as the investor. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about Elon way before Elon was even involved in what he's doing now. I'm talking about Elon, the CEO, the maker, and that guy. But this is what Elon has done. He's when there's something that doesn't exist, Elon goes, okay, I'm going to make that. and I'm going to make a market for it. It's just like the robots that Tesla's doing now. I mean, I could go on and on about what they're doing. So with that, with Achr here, I look at this and I go like, they're pushing into this. There's a market unfolding with this. And two, there's a lot of talks right now that defense could come in here. Defense contracts could come in here. So if we see Achr really get caught up in this conversation of defense contracts, what is that going to lead to? Now, obviously, these defense contracts will be huge because it takes a lot of money to run what's going on over in Achr. So I imagine these contracts will be pretty hefty just to support the magnitude of them, of what they represent and have as a company. Look at Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab is a kind of an example here. Rocket Lab is a company, I don't know, 2 years ago, no one was paying attention to. Even at the beginning, this time last year, 2024, this was under a $10 stock. No one was paying attention to Rocket Lab, but Rocket Lab was very futuristic, very neat, very cool. A lot of people taking heavy risk with it. Okay. And I even talked about Rocket Lab last year. I was like, I bought some Rocket Lab and I sold out of it when it went to like 20 some dollars. What was it, like began this year or something? Because I put it somewhere else. But, and look at it now. So Rocket Lab here, this is a perfect example of where, there was hype and expectation of what could come with Rocket Lab. Very cool, unique company. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Defense, massive, one of the biggest defense contracts in the history of defense contracts we've ever seen went to Rocket Lab. And what did the stock do? The stock went, oh my God. It was one of the biggest climbs in history with a stock. I mean, people made so much bank on that, and still it's going up too. And more than likely, Rocket Lab's going to continue to rise up because of these huge deals that it has acquired. So, that's another conversation over there with Rocket Lab where you go like, holy smokes, where is this going? This is a very futuristic company. If you're wanting to be a part of a space stock, something like that, you look at Rocket Lab, not to mention, now they have this huge contract with the United States government. So going back to Achr here, all I can say is I'm really trying to put this out there because I'm trying to cover stocks here that people keep asking me about. Achr is definitely a stock that if it were to trail back down into this $7 position, I would more than likely start acquiring shares of it. I'm watching it heavily. There's still a lot to come here with Achr, but it essentially is one of those stocks where it could just keep going up on what if. What if there is a market developed, a heavy market? What if they get government contracts? What if something like that were to occur? So right now, this is where I really see Achr right now, that it's a lot of expectation of what could come here too. And, the fact that Cathie Woods is involved in it, Cathie, obviously, ARK Investment, they don't always get it right. They've missed some in the past. I've been there, Nano Dimensions. They've missed some. But two, I like where Cathie is really focusing her attention right now. I really do mean that. And it doesn't mean that Achr is going to work, but it is a situation of where you have to look at this administration. You have to look at where, as an investor, you're a detective and you need to look into the future stock market, what it could be. What is the market leaving us for breadcrumbs right now where the market's going? The market loves technology. The market loves defense, security. And Achr, I would easily say, is wrapped up in a lot of those elements right there. So it's very much something that I think a lot of people should, I'm not telling you to buy it today, but what I am telling you, watch it. It should definitely be on your watch list, 100%. Watch Achr Aviation. At least if somebody brings it up to you, you at least know about it and you talk to somebody about it. It's a neat stock. It's a neat company. It's a neat stock. But it's one of the tragedies for me personally in the stock market because I could have bought this stock at such a cheap rate. But I was like, I was like, I don't know. And it was literally last year when I saw it. It just, the market, the attention span was not on this kind of stuff. So I was like, I'll come back to it. I had money wrapped up other places, and boy, what a mistake. yeah, friends, thank you so much. There's a little bit of a short video here. I'm gonna get down to detail more videos for this channel where I just kind of go over same. I'm not gonna keep talking about different videos every day, every week with this channel. I'm gonna nail it down to some videos to where we keep up with, really pushing to those. But two, I wish all of you the best of luck in the market this week. I really do mean that. I want to see everyone just really do well in the market and do well into the long term in the market here. We can do this. You can do this. I promise you, if you just give the market time and don't be naive to the market. Listen, the market wants your money. Don't let it have your money. Push in, have patience, invest in the right things. Friends, I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.